Right. So, welcome you to today's session. It's going to be a really insightful one. It's going to be practical field. It's going to be exciting just as much as the last class. So, let's go again. We have our programs. We are still taking registrations for the EBM program, the information systems, the AI business analyst, and the AI automation specialist. So if you have families, you have colleagues, you have friends, you have cousins that needs this program, let them know, send the registration links to them. So the attendance form would also be dropped in the chat box. Please endeavor to fill in that as it will be a criteria for the certificates in this program. So today, yes, we'll be continuing from where we stopped last week on cloud computing and managing the cloud infrastructure. And we have our seasoned trainer, Clifford Ezekiel, in the room with us. So briefly, let me introduce Clifford. Okay, Clifford Ezekiel is a dedicated cloud and cybersecurity professional renowned for strengthening digital resilience and advancing secure technology adoption in an increasingly connected world. With a career anchored in advanced cloud security and cyber defense, Clifford holds several globally recognized certifications, including Certified Cloud Security Engineer (CCSE), Certified Ethical Hacking (CEH), Certified Hacking Forensic Investigator (CHFI), and ISO 27001 lead implementer and lead auditor, among numerous other industry credentials. Driven by a deep commitment to excellence, standards, and value creation, Clifford actively champions responsible technology use and cybersecurity awareness. His professional mission is not only to secure digital infrastructures, but also to educate and empower individuals and organizations to navigate the cyber landscape safely and confidently. Beyond his professional pursuits, Clifford embraces a balanced lifestyle. He is a devoted pet lover, particularly fond of puppies and kittens, and enjoys public speaking, fitness, music, and leisure travel. These passions fuel his creativity, communication, and engagement with diverse audience. Looking ahead, Clifford aspires to reach and equip over 1 billion internet users with cloud and cybersecurity awareness, building a safer global digital ecosystem through education, innovation, and leadership. So, this is how much Transformation College goes to find a seasoned industry expert to take us in today's class. Today, we have Clifford in the class with us. So before I hand over to Clifford, please everybody, let's go to the chat box on WhatsApp. Let's go to the WhatsApp group. Let's invite everybody. Let them know the class is going on right now and they need to log on. So real quick, before I hand over to Clifford, I want us all to go to the group. Let's all tell them, yes, the class is going on right now. Join us. I'm waiting for us in the chat box, please. Let's go to the WhatsApp group. Let's go to the WhatsApp group. Tell everybody, just type in there that the class is ongoing and they need to join in right now. Right now. I'm waiting to see our chats. I'm waiting to see our chats. Let's tell everybody, let's tell the others that the class is ongoing and they need to log on right now. All right, I can see some more typing. Please let's all do that real quick before we dive into today's session. Let's do that real quick. It won't take us 30 seconds. It won't take us 30 seconds. Okay, okay. I'm not seeing anybody texting. Please, can we all okay? The class has started. Please let's all join. Let's all tell them to join. Let's tell everybody to join. So right about now, I'll be handing over to Mr. Clifford Ezekiel. Mr. Clifford, are you there? Hello, Mr. Clifford. If you're trying to speak, we cannot hear you.
Hello, good morning.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Clifford.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. Yes, I was trying to speak. However, I didn't know I was muted from the controller here. Thank you very much, the host, for having me on board. It's an opportunity and a pleasure of mine to be here, right? Yeah, and I can see I see some names of participants right here for this session, and it's thrilling. It's exciting, right, for me to be here. Thank you very much once again. All right, so I assume that the floor is mine now, so I can take over, right?
Yes, please go ahead, sir.
Okay, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, so I think the introduction has already uh been done. And once again, my name is Clifford Ezekiel. And yes, so you all know my profession or my professional background and what I represent and my passion and so much more, right? Yes. And I can see your names as well. Even though we might not have the time to have that introduction, but it's something that I love. However, this session is an interactive one, so I'd like to carry everyone along. Feel free at any point in time to get my attention if you want to understand something deeper than I have explained, all right? Or you understood it to be. Okay? Yes. All right. So once again, I want to confirm that everyone can hear me. Can you hear me loud and clear? If you can hear me, please let
Yes,
me
we
know.
can.
Great. All right. Okay, so yeah, the the reason why you and I were here, can anyone just okay, maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but does anyone know why we're here today? Why we all joined in? Do you know? Hmm, interesting. So it seems no one knows why we all joined in here. Do you have any ideas whatsoever? Just maybe not precisely or exactly, but just give you have an idea why we're here.
Yes,
Yes, go ahead, please. That should be Manuel. Go ahead, please.
yes, this is Emmanuel. We are here because of the class. We are here to attend the class for business management information system. Hello?
Okay. Yes, Emmanuel. Thank you very much for that answer. Great. So, and I understand that this is probably the second or the third week or Saturday that these sessions have started, right? Hello. Emmanuel,
Hello?
are you joining in for the first time?
Yes, this is my first time to attend the class. I wasn't in the last class, so
Oh,
I came just today.
okay. You're welcome. All right. Yeah. Okay,
Thank you very
yes.
much.
Yes. I think Amaka, you want to say something?
No, no need. You were asking Emmanuel questions, so I kept quiet. There was no need.
Okay. Okay.
Good morning,
All
sir.
right. Good morning. Okay, yes. So generally speaking, we're here to have what? For educative purpose. For what? For um Transformation College has organized this diploma in computer science for us, right? And that's why we're here. That's generally speaking. Okay. But today, this Saturday, this session, we are covering what? Cloud computing. Yes, our discussion, the content that we'll be looking into is on cloud computing. So, mm, to to get further into that discussion, I just like to ask a question before I even share my screen, right? If you don't know anything about cloud computing, can you just indicate by raising your hand? Can you raise your hand here? If you don't know anything about cloud computing, you never heard about it, you don't know anything about it. Okay. I think Taslim, is that okay? Your hand is up. So you don't know anything about cloud computing, right? Okay. All right. Since your hand is up, so that is definitely a yes. All right. Not to worries. At least by the end of this session, you will be introduced or you have a proper introduction to cloud computing. And you can also be able to set up a cloud environment for yourself, um, and a host of other things you can do as well in the cloud. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let me quickly share my screen and take you through this training materials and then other things that have been provisioned for today. All right. So I want to believe that you can see the slides that I'm presenting. Can we all see the slides I'm presenting?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Great, great. All right. So once again, you can see that is the topic for discussion today, and that is what cloud computing and managing the cloud infrastructure. All right. Great. So I'm here to give you that information that you need or you require to take the bold step into cloud computing. All right. Now, cloud computing is very simple to understand, but before we go into that, I just let me recall that some of us here might be have different backgrounds in terms of technology, right? Because technology is the term technology is very broad, is diverse, is vast, it is wide, so it it has different segments, right? And going from networking to programming to now we have the AI, machine learning, and that is the AI, right? We also
Yes.
have every other aspect when it comes to technology, right? So cloud computing is also another aspect of what technology as a whole. Okay. Now, the traditional way is that when you and I want to we want to share files, right? There is a lot of ways we can share files, right? Great. So I want to share a file with my colleague in the office. So I could they a lot of ways I could share the file. I could either use USB drive, that is drives. Um, that is let me say removable drives, right? The ones you can attach and detach from your PC. I can use that, so I just copy in what I want to share, and then I share it with the I share it with my colleague, right, or my friend, whoever it is at the other end. Another way I can do that is we have online drives, right? Yeah, you can where you can share files. Okay. Yeah, we're not going into all of that. I'm just trying to discuss something. So we have all those. I remember back in those days. Um, so in order for me not to lose, because I think there was a time when I had a couple of songs that I love to play. However, because every time I change a phone or I get a new phone, I want to migrate my files to the new phone, I ended up losing a lot of those files, right? Especially my musicals, right? And getting them back was a problem. So what I decided to do was to go to one of those online um, sharing platform or drives, and then I created an account. I can't really remember the one, but I created an account and I had my musicals mostly because those ones I couldn't get them back. So I uploaded them there, right? And it helped me keep them safe. So every time I could just retrieve them back. So now imagine that, taking that the whole story I've told you, take that and kind of magnify it, right? Yeah, bring in a couple of other features into it, and that is what we call cloud computing. Okay. Now let's go into the next slide.
Mr. Clifford, please can you put
Yes,
your
please.
slide on presentation mode, please? Thank you.
Okay. Sorry about that. I can't put it on presentation mode because I'll be switching uh, between browser and slide from time to time. That might that might be difficult for me. All right, but I hope you can see that, right? Great. So first, and on the yeah, the first topic we'll be talking about the cloud computing and managing the cloud infrastructure, right? So from evolution of data access, I just give you a brief um narration of the challenges I used to have about keeping my files, migrating my files, and restoring files on on my new device, especially my phone. Okay. And since I started using the online sharing platform, like I said, it became much more easier. In fact, there's this experience of iPhone, right, where um all I had to do was bring the two iPhones close to each other, and all of my files, and then I logged in. All of my files was transferred from iPhone A into iPhone B. I didn't lose anything. I didn't lose nothing. So that is what cloud computing can do for us, right? Yeah. And all of these things, I didn't even need to say I want to have an external drive, like investing in an external drive or a USB drive or any other type of drive. And those drives are also corruptible. All right. Yeah, and all of that. So let's talk about the evolution of data access, right? So before the cloud, I just told you, we used to have or use what we call the external storage devices for data transfer. Okay. Yes. So you can see, um, I haven't even gotten to this slide when I told you um the challenges I had and how I was able to resolve it, right? Yeah, so when cloud computing, right, came into place or was widely used or started, people started using the concept, right? And then it became easier to do what? To access information just as long as you have internet. You can be able to do what? Access your information, right? At any time that you want, from any device, any location in the world that you are, right? And it also gave birth to what? It all facilitated what? Remote banking, online shopping, right? There's so many organizations that are not in Nigeria, but you can place your order, right? You can place your order and they will have those items delivered to you timely. And that is because cloud computing has made that possible. Collaborative documentation, right? Yes. So you can have a document uploaded in the cloud, and then you can have your colleagues or co-workers work simultaneously on that document, right? Yes, so that is what cloud computing has brought to us, okay? And it has also helped what? Modern businesses. Yes, because right now, a lot of ideas, a lot of ideas in terms of what productivity, efficiency, speedy delivery, and all of that has also do what's come into place. All right. Yeah. So that is what cloud computing has done for us. It has helped us what in terms of data access at a very speedy rate. So cloud computing applications, um, there are so many applications, right? From the web applications to our internal applications, workflows, and all of that, right? Yeah, you can see that accounting systems, human resources, our daily operations, they can all, or they are all what? In fact, some applications are entirely cloud-based. I doubt most of the applications that are used in most organizations currently. I doubt if they are even hosted on-prem. Everything is virtually hosted in the cloud, right? All you have to do is have internet access, and then you do what? Have internet, and then you can access those applications or data, regardless of where they are, right? Great. So moving forward, I mentioned the online drive, and one of them is Google Drive. I think there is one drive. Yes, sorry. There is one drive. One drive is Microsoft. There's Google Drive. There are other drives as well. All right. And this is how I was, that was how I was able to use one of those drives to do what? To solve a challenge or to solve an issue about losing my files, right? And from that day henceforth, I never lost a file whenever I wanted to migrate to a new device, right? So you have what? One of the benefits is that you have multi-device access, right? You have multi-device access. You can just create a folder, or you can create it. You can even create the file online on the drive and save it on the drive and access it on the drive on any of your devices. There is also the real-time collaboration. I have mentioned that as well, right? You can have multiple people, multiple users, they can work on the same document at the same time, simultaneously from what? Different locations, as long as they are what? Connected to the international network, which is the internet. All right. Yeah, so these are some of the advantages of cloud computing. All right. Um, so just okay. Now, there's a question there that says the business challenge. Consider a situation where an organization needs to rapidly expand a new product line to increase what? Competitive advantage. What's the timeline for traditional infrastructure, right? Um, we I would have loved to throw this answer question to the participants, to all of us here. But the general idea, to save time, the general idea behind this is if an organization wants to, you know, quickly, probably they got a feedback or from a review, they want to improve a product or maybe even kind of come up with a new product, right? So the traditional infrastructure, right, can prolong that whole business idea, right? From idea into product, because the product is what you now serve your customers, right? Yeah, so the traditional infrastructure will prolong it. But with the cloud computing, right, it can instantaneously be turned from ideas into what? Into products. Because then you have access to almost everything you could have started setting up right on-prem, right? So the opposite of cloud or the opposite of on-prem is cloud, and the opposite of cloud is on-prem. So everything you would have started thinking about or trying to set up on-prem in your business building, you could just do that on the cloud. And based on the service model of the cloud, that can almost immediately be brought into life or reality, right? Great. So let's move on. Okay, so yeah, so this is even your answer, right? The traditional infrastructure timeline. So looking at this, you can see that it will take longer time, and I will show you why, right? When we go over to the practical aspect of things, I'm going to show you why it will take a longer time, right? If you look at the the image there, this is this is virtually probably a product they're trying to set up, and they have to set all of this thing up in order to take that product idea, in order to take that business idea into a product, right? And that is going to take a long time or longer time. You can see there like 45 to 60 days. That's almost, if it's not 3 months, right? Just to bring an idea into a product, okay? Okay, let's look at some cloud computing terms. This is not cloud computing definition. This is cloud computing terms. What are the things or key things you need to know, right? So when we talk about the cloud, I want to break it down for you. The cloud. What does people just, what is even this cloud we're talking about, right? Now, every time an organization want to set up their network, right? They usually have a server room, okay? They have a server room, and that server room is made up of you have in there, you have racks, and in those racks you have routers, switches, all those boxes, right? Network boxes. And then connected to the router and the switches will be servers, computers, right? Yeah, it could be a file server, it could be a web server, it could be any other server, right? And the purpose of having that server is so that whatever that is put on that server, right? Every other person that is connected to that network, to that rack, will be able to access the files, the information on that server. Okay, so that's the idea of that's the traditional way of setting up the network infrastructure. Now, if you, let's say somebody from another organization says, we don't have a server room, but can I keep my files on your own server? All I need is please grant me access to your own server. Are we following? Right? All I need is please, I want to keep my files on your own server. We don't have a server. We don't have a server room in my own organization. So we want you to keep our files on your own server and then grant us access to your server. That is what cloud computing is all about. So by you accepting to host those people's files, maybe keep their files on your own server and granting them access to do what? To your server, that is the basis, that is the model of what? Cloud computing. All right. So IT resources available through internet on-demand or pay-as-you-go basis without user management requirement. Okay, that is the cloud. We're going to go deeper, right? And you understand further as well. The next one is the cloud provider. That is the organization, the entity, or the company that provides what? Cloud services. Okay, from data storage to application hosting, infrastructure, and all of these things, they are known as what? The cloud provider. Then the cloud consumer is the user, the one that does what? That need to have access to the files on the cloud. That is the what? The cloud consumer, right? Are we clear on this? Okay, so let's proceed.
Yes.
Okay, let's proceed. Before we go here, I think there's something that should come first. Uh, okay, this should come first. All right. So on this slide, we have what? We have the NIST cloud computing definition. The NIST stands for what? National Institute of Standards and Technology, right? Yes. So some of us, we might know them, but you can always look them up if you don't, right? Yeah, so they have defined cloud computing in a way that that kind of that explains the models, right, of what? Cloud computing. So if you look here, the definition says cloud computing is a model for enabling ambiguous, cloud computing is a model for enabling ubiquitous, convenient, on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management effort. Now, there are five key components, right? And let me briefly explain these five components to you. The first one is broad network access. I already mentioned it that without internet, you cannot achieve cloud computing, right? So network access or internet is very, very key for you to access what, or for you to do what, to use cloud computing. Resource pooling, it means that you can pull whatever resource, you can pull whatever resource that you want. You can host whatever files that you want, right? Ranging from applications and any other thing, you can host them on the cloud, right? There's rapid elasticity. Okay, so it's more is you can scale up or scale down, whichever one, right? So for instance, if there's too many requests for a service on your web application, you can add resources to your web application, right? So it can meet up with the what to the request. Okay. That way there won't be any lagging or buffering or any of these issues, and your server might as well not crash. There's measured service. Measured service is um pay pay as you go, right? It is based on what you use that you pay for. You don't get to pay for it's not like you bought a system and you're not using it. No. If you decide to spin up a resource, then you pay for what you spin up. Okay. So that it cuts out redundancies and all of that. Then it's on-demand self-service. You can do it on your own. You don't even need anybody's intervention, right, to set up the cloud. However, in certain situations, in a organizational level, you will need a what? You need either a cloud engineer, a cloud architect, and any of these professionals to help you manage your cloud environment. All right. Yeah. Okay. Any questions so far? All right, so I'll be taking us quickly. Let's look at what this cloud is all about. So give me a moment. All right, let me stop sharing this. All right, so I believe that you can see the browser, right? Can we all see the browser?
Yes.
Great. All right, so if you all can see the browser, quickly, so there are different cloud. We talked about, or I have introduced or defined the cloud service provider, right? The CSP. There are various cloud service providers, right? There are a couple of them, but there are three major ones that are popularly known because they have the largest market share. A lot of organizations use them the most, right? And the first one is what we have AWS, all right? And AWS is cloud by Amazon, right? Cloud by Amazon. That is what's AWS, okay? And looking here, this is the URL for AWS, all right? You want to set up your cloud, you prefer AWS to others. This is the URL for AWS, right? Yeah, are we so you can as well open your browser and enter the URL, and you should be able to you will land here on this particular page. Are we together? All right. So
We are
now
together.
okay, great. So now that you're here, this is for AWS. The next slide, this is for Azure, right? Azure is by what? It's cloud by Microsoft, okay? Yeah, so this is the URL for Azure, right? Yeah. So if you also enter this URL, you'll be able to, you will land here by now, okay? And the last is Cloud by Google, all right? Yeah, in short, it is GCP, right? So it's Cloud by Google. And this is also the URL for Cloud by Google, all right? GCP. So this, if you enter this, you will land here, all right? Now, just like every other time you go to a website that you've never used before, you've never visited before, what do you need to do? Can someone tell me briefly, quickly? What do you need to do? What is the first thing you do? Yeah. I don't
Sign up.
this yeah, please can you just state your name if you're going to answer. I don't um, mm, yes, please. What do you need to do? What is the first thing you do?
Good morning, sir.
Good
My name
morning.
is
Please,
Amaka. You sign up. You
you
sign
will
up. You register
sign up.
yourself.
Thank you very much, Amaka. Yes, for a website that you've not used before, you will do what? You have to register, you have to sign up, all right? So that is the first thing you do. And so that's the first thing we'll always do. But before we get into this, we'll come back. I just want to show us, and then we'll come back to this. Let's quickly brush through that slide once again, and we will be right back, all right? Great. All right. So, yes, so having established all of that, now we've talked about the cloud computing definition by NIST and all of the five components, all right? Let's quickly go further. Yes, so cloud implementation process, right? Now, the having also established that there are different world cloud service providers, right? That means that you have options, right? Great. Now that you have options, what do you need to do? Now, for your products or for your ideas or for hosting your files, your applications in the cloud, there are certain decisions you need to make. Okay. Right. So you also have to compare, you have to um, consider certain factors. Okay. Now, certain factors, because of the factors that you have to consider, you will need to make certain decisions or choices, right? And so the cloud implementation process will require you to do what? To select your cloud service provider, right? So you need to choose your cloud service provider that offers the required services that you require, right? Great. So they have to do what? You need to choose a cloud service provider that offers what? The required services and infrastructure capabilities that suit your need. Okay? Another one you need to consider is you probably sometimes, I don't know, but you need to consider based on what we have here, you need to consider the interface, right? Great. Some are easier to use, while others are not. Maybe not for everyone, but you have to consider that, right? How you're going to do what, how you're going to access the portal, your cloud portal, right? It's very important as well, okay? And then deployment and testing, all right? How you're going to do what, to build, to configure your software installation, all of those things that you need to get yourself set up, get your cloud environment running. You have to consider all of that as well. All right. Okay, so let's quickly look at the on-premise infrastructure versus the cloud infrastructure. And I think I mentioned this briefly. Um, it takes several, it takes a longer time to set up a server room, one in an organization. All right. Meanwhile, for cloud, it's just a couple of days, as long as the decisions have been made, the implementation can just be done in a couple of days, right? Set up your cloud and have your applications running or whatever you have running there, right? Um, Another one is high upfront capital expenditure, right? Right now, we know that things, especially gadgets, technologies are expensive. They are really, really expensive to own. Okay, right. Imagine that you have to buy 10 sorry, 10 servers, right? Yeah. And meanwhile, in the cloud, you can be able to do what? Access those servers, right? And just pay for the time you use them. That's all you have to pay. You don't need to own them, right? You just pay for the time that you use them. Another one is what? Physical hardware management, right? So this limitation also, it limits you in terms of what? Scalability as well. Because then let's say you bought a computer that has 250 gig SSD, for instance. Now, for you to scale up, you need to buy like a 500 or a 1 terabyte and so on and so forth, right? And that might take a while. However, if when it's cloud, you don't need to bother about that. You can scale up immediately. All you have to do is add the resources and you're good to go. And your computer is still running, right? There's no what interruption or none of that, right? Yeah. And another thing is that you don't get to manage the physical hardware resources. No, you're not responsible for that. The cloud service provider is responsible for what? For managing those resources. All right. Great. Okay, so let me quickly go back there. I think we've touched on a couple of things. So let's try to set up our cloud environment and see. Let's try to set up our cloud environment. Are we ready? Are we ready?
We
Yes,
are,
we
I
are
can't
ready.
hear anything. Okay,
we are
great,
ready.
great,
We
great.
can hear you.
All right. All right, great. All right. Okay, so I believe that you can see the browser, right? Can we all see the browser?
Yes, sir. We can see it.
Okay, great, great. Now, we're going to do setup for AWS, right? Yeah, and it's virtually the same thing for Azure and for Google, right? For GCP, right? Yeah. So to get started, very important, you need to understand, like I said, your service provider, you need to also understand their prices. It's very important. Their pricing is key as well. I think they have a billing, great, sorry, billing and cost what management. You need to understand their billing and cost management. They used to have calculator somewhere, but Yeah. So depending on what you want to do, but for us and for this demo, it's not a priority, it's not an issue for us to go through that calculator. However, when as an organization, is very important for you to look at the pricing, all right, for the resources. But that won't be bad if we just take a look at it. Okay, we'll come back here. This is it. Okay, taking a while to load. Okay, so you can see now there are so many factors, or there are a couple of factors that can influence what pricing, right? Yeah, so number one, you can see here the location or the region, right? I trust you can hear me, right? Am I audible?
So you do say.
Great. So there are factors that can influence what pricing, right? Yeah, so number one is the region or the location, right? So you can see here, based on the location. Now, what does that even mean? It means that so they have data centers, right? Yeah, they have data centers in different regions, right? So AWS, for instance, they have data centers in different regions across the world. So they have in the United States, US, and even in that US, they have for different regions. So if you look here, so if you search by location type, so you go to region, region is automatically selected, and then you go to choose a region. You can see these are all different regions. So you have the East US, you have the West US, you have Canada, you have Mexico, you have Africa, and Africa is the data center is in South Africa, right? Cape Town. You have Asia, right? And all of these are different regions. Now you can choose which region you want your file or your application to be hosted. You are responsible for that, right? Yes, it's your choice to choose whichever region that is what that you want to host your application or your files, right? However, what you need to have in mind is you have to choose a region that is closest to you, right? Great. Yes, we know that internet is a global network, international network, but choose a region that is closest to you, right? The reason is because if it's the closer it is to you, the faster you're going to be able to reach your data, right? Every time. Okay. Yes, so that's why you need to consider what choosing a region that is closest to you. All right. Great. So the region can influence the price. So depending on where the data center is, it can influence the pricing of what you're going to pay, right? Yeah. So take note of that. Then other things can also influence that is say you are going with say you want to spin a particular device, right? You want to spin up a particular server. Now, depending on the model of the server you are spinning up or the resource, right? Because it's based on the resource that is calculated, right? So if the higher the storage or the processing speed, the higher you're going to pay, right? Great. So that also influences the pricing or the cost. So now you choose the region. You can find a service, say, mm, let's do, let me see, I'm trying to see, okay. Okay, so there are services here, but this is just I'm just giving you, I'm just trying to show you. Let's just try and calculate and see what we might get. So these are different products or resources, right? So let me just see which one we can use for this. Okay, so let's use CloudFront. Yeah. So CloudFront is for hosting what web application files, right? Yeah. So it helps you to deliver content, right? So for instance, just like it is there, right? Yeah, CloudFront is a content delivery network. Okay, right. So let's say we configure a CloudFront. So I'm just going to configure this. All right. So now we have configured CloudFronts. So there is flat rate, there is pay as you go, right? So the pay as you go, um, so the flat rate is they give you the full feature, like with every other thing that comes along with it. So if you look at it there, they're going to give you alongside with this CDN, they're going to give you a WAF, that is a web application firewall. They're going to give you a denial of service protection. There'll be a what DNS. That means you also have a domain name registered as well. You have login, that is monitoring, right? Monitoring capabilities. You have serverless edge compute. So these are other services that comes with it. So if you want a flat rate, all of these package come together. If you don't want it that way, then you can do what? Pay as you go. So if you do pay as you go, what you're just going to get is CloudFront as a CDN, a content delivery network only. Every other thing, nothing comes with it, right? So let's do pay as you go. Probably we'll just add all of those later, right? So and another thing with it is that this can also help you get you. This is like a you're trying to make a quotation, right? Yeah, so you can give it a name, say setup setup CDN for website website. Okay. All right. So now we've sorted that. We say pay as you go. We've configured that. The next one is the CloudFront edge locations. I told you that the location matters, right? So there's an announcement here. Okay. So the location matters. Where do you want it to be, right? Yeah, so you can choose your location, right? Yeah. So choose the geographies where your content will be served, right? Let's say we go with this. Yeah. Um, okay. So this is let me see. Okay, so let's do the first is free. Please manually exclude this from this. Okay. So let's do um data transfer out to internet. So let's do 2 gig. Let's do 2 gig, right? Oh no, 2 gig is too small. Let's do 10 gig, right? Per month. Another 10 gig per month. Okay. Let's see. Okay, no. Sorry. That let's do 10 terabytes because 10 gig is too small. Let's do 10 terabytes per month. Great. Now, here we have number of requests, right? So this is also another factor that you need to consider, right? Um, how many requests or what is the volume of requests that your application is likely to process at a given time, right? So they are telling you that here they said the first 10 million requests per month are free, right? Great. So this is not a problem. So we can have, let's say 5,000. Yeah, let's have 5,000 requests. But if we know it's going to exceed that, we can also. Now, what we are just trying to do is estimation. We're just trying to do what? An estimation, right? So to give us an idea of what we are likely to pay, right? Yeah, what we are likely to pay for. Okay. So you can see here after we have imputed the data and then we come down here for calculation. See, everything is broken down and all of that. So just to host a cloud front to CDN, we'll need to pay what? Can you all see that figure there? Right? Can you see that? What is this? Hello, are we together?
1,070,
Yeah,
1,075,
1,075.2 US dollar.
Great,
21 US dollar. Yes.
great. Yeah, so this kind of gives you an idea of what you will pay per month, right? But it does not necessarily mean this is what you pay anyways, right? Yeah, because there are other factors. There are a lot of factors that can determine what you pay, right? But from here you can either save and view the summary or save and add service, and then that's if you're signed in already and you can then go on from there, right? So I'm just giving you an idea of how you can calculate your costing, right? And know what you pay for. Okay, great.
Sorry, sir. Can
Uh,
I ask you a question? But
go ahead, please.
can I ask a question? During pay as you go, is it fair? I think flat rate should be better now because at that point you get a discount.
Okay, so of course, we're here. We can always click on flat rate. So let's do flat rate and see. All right. Do we need to change anything? Okay, let's do flat rate. So we can say mm, definitely not a free plan. Say okay, so let's say we have judging by the same input from pay as you go. So let's say we have for development of small projects. I don't know what they are measuring with, but let's say we have free plan can be more than 3. Okay, 3. And for business applications, let's say we have about 10 business applications, all right? 10. And let's just go with 10, 10, 10. I really don't know how this works out. Okay, no premium plan. Let's just go with one of this. All right. Okay, so this is flat rates. So let's say we have they don't give more than 3 free plans, right? Yeah. And for us, we have okay, let me just reduce this. I really don't know how they're quantifying this, but let's say we have 10, right? So 3 free plans, we don't pay anything, right? For 10 business plans, we get to pay what, 200 USD per month. Okay, so we pay 2000 USD for business plans. So that also makes sense, right? So that also makes sense. I think we get to pay $2,000 per month. All right. Yeah, so whichever one that works for you, yeah, you can always check it out here and calculate the sum together and all of that, right? Are we good? Are we good?
Yes, sir, we're good.
Okay, great, great. All right, fine. Okay, so any questions? Another question? Any questions so far?
Sir, under this description, it
Yes,
said
please.
setup. Is it for CDN or CND?
Oh, my bad. Is CDN, Content Delivery
Right.
Network. Mm.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Mhm. Any questions?
Yes,
Can we
may I ask a
proceed?
question?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just wish to know the cloud service provider for Google. How is it called?
Yeah, it's called uh Google Cloud Provider.
Google Cloud Provider.
GCP, yeah, GCP, Google Cloud Provider.
Okay, because we are now working on Microsoft, which is AWS. So Google
No,
is
no,
GCP.
no. AWS is not Microsoft. AWS is Amazon.
It's Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Google is GCP.
Yes, GCP, Google Cloud Provider, or Google
Okay, thank
Cloud
you.
Platform, anyone.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, so now let's try to
Yes,
register
I
an
have a
account.
question.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
I need more explanation about that CDN. What are the main function of that CDN?
Okay, all right. So the CDN is what will help you to publish what you have. Let's say you want to share something to the public. You want public to have access. Okay, let me put it this way. You've hosted your website, right, on AWS. Now, hosting the website is one thing. Now, if you want the website to be accessible, right, then you have to activate what? Content Delivery Network, CDN. Because without the CDN, that your application cannot be reachable. So you have to do what? You have to subscribe to the service, to the CDN service for your website to be reachable. Do you understand it?
Yes, I understand.
Great. All right. Okay. Any other question? Okay, so I take it there's no other question. So let's proceed. Now, the next thing we want to do is we're going to try to create an account. We'll try to create what? To create an account on AWS, right? So to do that, you can come to the AWS Management Console. Can we all see that? Can we all see that?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we have
Great.
seen.
So just click under my account here. You can there are a couple of ways you can do. You can even create accounts here. You can just come here, AWS Management Console, and click on that, and it will redirect you to the console. You can see the URL for the console. Now, very importantly, right? Once you go to, you're about to access your console, right? A region is assigned to you, right? So if you look up here, if you look at the URL, right, you will see what? What do you see here? What do you see here? What do we see here? What do we see there, please?
Not.
Hello?
EU not.
That's EU not.
Great.
Europe
EU
not.
not.
Great, great. So what it stands for is what? Not Europe or Europe not.
Europe not.
That's what it stands for. So that means that what we are assessing right now, the interface, the portal we are assessing is for what? It means that the region we are interacting with or the data center we are working with is what? Europe North. All right? Great. Europe North 1. There can be Europe North 2 and all of that, right? But your region right now that is assigned to you automatically is what? Europe North 1. You can always change region. You can always change what? Region, right? Yeah, you can migrate your files, your applications from one region to another, right? Yeah, so let's proceed now that we're here. This is for signing. So that's if you have created account before, but because we haven't created an account, let's go over to, so go here, sign in using root user email. Yeah. Sign in using root user email. So that way we can be able to use our email to create an account. Are we following? Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great,
Yes, we are
great,
together.
great. Any questions?
None so far.
Okay, great. So
Yeah,
now that
yes,
you're here, go ahead. Go ahead.
about sign in. Can I use Google account for sign up or
Okay, so
email?
go ahead.
Because some
Sorry,
website
take that again.
you can use one Google account for sign instead use email. Because sometimes when you use email, they'll send you an OTP. While in a Google account, when you use Google account, you just automatically sign up and log in.
Okay, so it depends, right? That's like there's something we call it, but guys escaped my mind or my yeah. So if you already log in on Google, right? Great, you can go ahead and use Google because automatically it will ask you if you want to use Google, right? But if you like, I am not signed in on Google on this browser. So that's why I want to use an email instead, right? Yeah, so I can just sign up using any email of my choice. Okay. Are we clear on this?
I understand.
Great. Now, yeah, so there are two types of users on AWS. There are two types of what? AWS user accounts, right? We have the root user and we have the I am user, right? The root user is the administrator. Is the one is the account that um is the organ of all other accounts. Is the boss of all other accounts, right? Yes, so that's the root user. The I am user is a normal user. So the I am user is limited, is restricted to only what they can do, right? So if the root user say I am user can't do this, they can't do it. If the root user say the I am user can do this, that is only what they can do, right? So take note of that. Very important, right? Okay, so now, excuse me.
Hello, sir. So the root user is like the administrator.
The root user is the administrator, not like it's the administrator of the portal, like um yeah, the root user is the administrator.
Okay.
Is
Thank
the
you.
account owner. Yeah. Without the root user, then you can have access to the portal to effect global changes. Is okay, let's call the root user is a global administrator. That means they can do everything, everything. They can do and undo.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we have established that. Let's go over to new to create an account. So finally just go down to new to AWS sign up down there. Can we all see that? Can we all see the cursor? Can we all see the cursor, right? Down there, new to
Sure.
AWS sign up. Are we good?
So I thought you put an email.
No, this is for signing in. If you just want to sign in, so go ahead and enter your email. Now, if you're a root user, you leave it the way it is. But if you're not a root user, maybe you're just a normal user, then you have to select that you're a normal user. And for the normal user, you can see that the root user can use an email address. The normal user or the I am user cannot use an email address. You need to use your account ID, right? Your account ID is what you use to sign in, right? So we're going with
Okay.
the root user because we are the root user. And then we want to sign up. New to AWS, sign up. That's the next step. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Are
Well,
we following?
yes, sir.
Okay, so new to AWS, I'm trying to sign up now. All right. So it's going to bring you to the sign up for AWS page. Now, this is where you can enter your root user email address. It can be any email address, all right? Any email address of your choice. But I think let me use I do have I have please let me see. I do have an email. Yeah, let me see. I don't want to use my email, but I have a relay email I can use. Let me quickly bring that up. Okay, yeah, so I have it. Let me just paste this here. All right. So I'll give it a name. So this is the name that will appear every time you log in. All right. So I think we're good to go. I'm going to verify this email. So before I do, let me open the original email address. So inbox. Okay, it's almost there. All right. So now I think we can go ahead and verify email address. All right. Can you also see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, great. All right. So I'm going to enter this verification answer. That should be ND5 DTG. All right. So I submit that. Let's see. Okay, so a verification code has been sent. Let me get it. Okay, I'm still waiting for the verification code. I haven't sent it yet. All right, it has arrived. So I'm checking it out. Okay, 540, 413. 540, 413. Great. All right, so now, so my email has been successfully verified. And the next is I have to enter password. So let me use a password that is there before. Okay, so show password. Okay, so let me use this, then continue. All right, so we are making progress. Now it's asking us, so we have to choose your account plan. Yeah, so you either go for the free plan or you can do or choose a paid plan, right? And these are the features, okay, of your free plan. You have a free plan for as long as 6 months. Yeah. Now, what is the free plan all about? The free plan is you can only use resources within what $200 in credit. That's free. But it's not that you can use all the resources. There are certain resources that you can't use. All right. Yeah, so you can see the ones that are marked X says workload scale beyond credit threshold. That means beyond this $200, you're on your own. You have to pay, right? You can be on free plan and you'll be using paid resources. It doesn't matter, all right? So another one is access to all AWS services and features it is limited, all right, when you're on a free plan. All right. So for you to access everything, you need to choose a paid plan. So we're going to go on with the choose free plan. So I go with this. All right, so at this point, you need to do some verification. Um, this is where I don't like. You need to enter phone number. Do I have it? Let me see. Oh, I have it. Excuse me. Give me a minute. Let me check. Let me check. Let me get in phone number. All right. So we all right, so we choose the country or region. The address, let me just say okay, and next. All right, so this is another case. Okay, you have a card. Mm, you have a card, okay. Okay, so the next step is where you have to enter your card. So for this free, right? Even for the paid one, when you enter your card information, right? It's not like you be debited, but the way they charge for the way they charge in the cloud environment is that they charge you per month. So you can only be billed at the end of the month. Not like every time you spin a resource, they're just going to bill you immediately. No. So they will accumulated, it's accumulated and then billed at the end of the month. All right. Yeah, or the end of I think 30 days, that's standard. Right? Great. So that's how the billing is. I think after here, let me see. Mm, this might be an issue. Let me see. Please give me a minute. Let me see if I have a card I can use. All right. So whenever you're setting up AWS, your cloud environment, just know you're going to have your card handy, right? Because you will be required to enter your card information or a payment information. All right. Yes. So just know that, have that at the back of your mind. You'll be required to do that. Now that we're done, have to verify my phone number. So that should be the last part. Okay. All right. So I have B, that B, H, X, Y, 5PN. Is that another H? Let me see. It didn't work. All right. MW, MWM, H37. Submit. Great. All right, so I enter the verification code. Let me get it. It hasn't dropped. Oh. I have to, let me get it to turn on that. Okay, so currently I'm waiting to receive the SMS so I can verify the. Okay, I'm still waiting to receive the SMS. I haven't. Okay, I haven't received the SMS, so I don't know why it's taking this long. This is correct. Why is it taking this longer? Let me add a 0. Two six five PFX. Sorry, you have received too many requests for certain information. Please try again in several minutes. Ah, um, Okay, so let's just go to the slides and have some discussion. I'll probably just come back in a couple of minutes and try it again. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Are we together? Are we
Yes.
together? Okay,
Yes.
great. All right, all right, all right. Okay, so let's move on. Cloud
Sorry,
computing.
Mr. Clifford.
Yes, please.
So by 12 noon, we'll be going on a 30 minutes break and
Okay,
head back by 12:30 to complete the class.
okay. All right, noted. All right, so moving on, cloud computing versus on-prem infrastructure. What are those things? So for on-prem, you know that you have full control and management of the what from the physical hardware to the software, right? And every other infrastructure in-house, right? So you're responsible for cleaning, you're responsible for the cooling system, you're responsible for security, physical security, who has access or who goes in and who comes out of the server room, right? Yeah, you're responsible when you have your in the on-prem environment, right? Another one is direct access, right? In as much as possible, you also have unlimited access, unlimited and direct access to the platforms that you have what you've set up on your on-prem server room environment, right? From your file system to your databases to your applications, you can access as much as you want, right? And then you also need what? Internal support. Okay, internal support is responsible for what? For maintaining or maintenance, monitoring, and keeping the technological systems and equipment running, right? So this is for the on-prem. Why in the cloud there is the universal access, right? The universal access simply means that in the traditional, when you set it up, when you set up your server room, there is a possibility that yes, you can access it from anywhere, right? If you set up remote access properly, yes, you can, right? Yeah, but for for cloud environment, it's still the same thing because of course, you have to share only what is required to be shared. You cannot share something that is sensitive to the public just because it's in the cloud. Doesn't make any sense, right? Yes, so you can also leverage the cloud for remote access, right? Because in fact, that is the model of cloud computing, remote access. That is a core component of what cloud computing. So you can access your files and your applications from where? From anywhere at all right? From anywhere at all, right? Great. Another one is virtualized environment. So in the traditional on-prem, of course, you can actually have virtualized environment where you can run um you can run two or more operating systems of virtualized environment on one server, right? But in the cloud environment, it's a core model, right? Because that is what it operates on, virtualization, right? You can run as many systems as possible as you want, right? Yeah. Elastic scalability, we've also talked about this before. You can expand, you can collapse resources that you're not using based on demand, right? If the demand is high, you can scale high, you can scale up. If the demand is low, or maybe everything is seem normal, you can just do what? Scale down to your normal resources so that you don't overpay, right? So it keeps what? A flexible and smooth running of your what? Of your resources, of your systems or assets, right? Great. So those are the advantages of what? Cloud environment over the on-prem, right? And the major cloud service providers, we've already looked at this once. And here we have the AWS, the Google Cloud Platform, and the Microsoft Azure, right? So these are the major ones. There are, of course, other ones. There's Oracle, there's yeah, other ones actually, but they are not as popular as these big three, right? And in there, you're going to get what? Operating system, security, networking, and storage resources. That is what they offer. We have also other ones like the Digital Ocean. It's strictly or mainly a what? Development environment for developers, right? We also have the Wasabi
I get the
technologies.
juice, bro.
Yes, please. What did you say? Are you talking to me? Okay.
I think that was a
Uh,
mistake. Please go on.
okay. So we also have the Wasabi technologies, which is for storage. They offer storage solutions to platforms for that, right? Great. So these are the major cloud service providers. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Okay, moving on. Um, let's look at the cloud service models, right? These are the three core cloud service models, right? And number one, coming from the left-hand side, we have the infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service, right? Now, here is where you're able to do what? You provision your computing resources. You can be able to provision as many servers as you want, as many storage devices as you want. You can introduce as many networking components as you want, right? That is infrastructure as a service. Now, remember, we are trying to set up a root user on AWS, right? We're trying to set up our account on AWS. That account we're trying to set up is a what? Will give us what? Infrastructure as a service, right? Infrastructure as a service is what we'll get. Another one is platform as a service. There are situations where you've been given a desktop. So for instance, let me give you we all know what RDP is, that's remote desktop protocol is, right? RDP.
Yes.
Do we okay, we
Yeah.
know about RDP. Great. You know that when you log in RDP, you log into a server that is on, and where do you log in? You log into the desktop. That's where you log in, right?
Yes, sir.
Great. So before then, it just means that you can only operate on the desktop of that
Complete.
system or server or computer, right? You can't go beyond the desktop. That is what an example of a platform as a service, because you're only given the desktop. You only have access to the desktop. You cannot change anything. Like for instance, um you cannot add anything to that system, and you can't remove anything to that system. You can only work on the desktop of that system, right? So there are situations like that. So you can a good example will be let me see let me see a good example of that type of service. Okay, if anyone comes to mind, I'll probably just bring it up, right? So, but this is a very good example when you're given access to the desktop only. So on that desktop, you can open your browser, you can add like install applications, uninstall applications, you can do some other things on the desktop, just on the desktop alone, right? So that is what platform as a service. So you're given, or let me say, I'm trying to remember. I know I just none comes to my head for now, right? So that is platform as a service, all right. Another one, the one on the right is software as a service, okay. And this is mostly for our what? Most of the time, we all understand that most of our social media platforms they are hosted in the cloud, right? We all understand that, right? Do we understand that? Are we together?
Yes,
Hello? Great.
we are together.
So great. So most of our
We
social
are
media
together, but we need
platforms,
more explanation about that cloud service model.
where
Hello?
which aspects do you need explanation on?
The first one.
The first one. I explained
Yes,
the first one. I said what we are trying to do, we're trying to create an account on AWS, right?
yes.
Great. So when you're done creating the account on AWS, you'll be taken to your portal. Now, on your portal, there is nothing there. Now, on your portal, you can add a computer. The way the computer will go, like the way the computer will run, for instance, the RAM, the ROM, the processing speed, the whatever you need the computer to be, you can spin it up. That is what infrastructure as a service, because you determine everything about what you want. Are you getting me? Like you determine everything
Yes.
about how that computer, if you want it to be 8 gig RAM, you get 8 gig RAM. If you want it to be 16 gig RAM, you get 16 gig RAM. You want it to be 1 terabyte storage, you get 1 terabyte storage. Whatever feature you want, you can set it up. I hope that by the time we come back, we'll be able to log in so I can show you. That is what a good example of what infrastructure as a service, because you have access to what the computing resources, right? Every computing and supporting resources, you have access to it. You can you can call up whatever system you want. You can change whatever you want. All right. That is infrastructure. That means
Okay.
you have access to the infrastructure. They are giving you the whole infrastructure, right? As
Okay.
as you are the admin to the whole infrastructure. You can make any changes you want.
Okay.
Yeah. Then platform is restricted, because then you're only given the desktop of a computer, only the desktop. That means that you cannot change the RAM, you cannot change the storage. If it's 8 gig RAM, it's 8 gig RAM. If it's 16 gig RAM, it's 16 gig RAM. If it's 520 or 512 gig storage, that is what it is. You don't have access, you can't change all of those features, those supporting features, computing resources, you can't change them. The only thing you can change is on the desktop. That is platform as a service. By the time you come back, I'm going to get us some examples, right? Software as a service. I'm going to use a typical one that is like a social media. So let's say, for instance, Facebook. Facebook is hosted in the cloud, right? Yeah. And we don't, the computer where Facebook is running from, does anyone know? Hello?
No. No.
Great. No one knows the computer where Facebook is running from. I don't know. You don't know, right? TikTok. We all watch videos on TikTok, right? If they ask you which computer is TikTok hosted on, can you tell? Hello. Can anyone tell that?
No,
No.
but
Yeah, but what, sir? Please go ahead. Yes, please.
I think that should be a personal information for the administrator and those who own the server.
Great. In as much as you and I, we don't know where TikTok, Facebook, they are hosted on, there are people that know about it. Because those people, they have access to the infrastructure. They have access to what's the platform. But you and I, we only have access to the software. So the software, when you call it, you enter a URL and then it brings up a portal for you to log in. You only able to log in and log out and make changes to your portal. You can't make changes to other people's portal. You can only change how people access your portal, how they view your portal, who you want to block, who you want to unblock. That's the only thing you can do. If you want to close Facebook, can you close Facebook? Hello? Okay, I think we need to take the break now. I think it's
You
for
can't close
12.
Facebook.
Yes, we can
Facebook
close.
can only be closed by the owner.
Great, great. You and I, we can't close Facebook. We are only users. We only go there, sign up, register, and then we use Facebook. And if we don't want it, we delete our account. Does that affect Facebook? No. Facebook is still running, right? Great. So that is software as a service. We are only given the software as a service. We only have access to the software. And even the software, when you log in, you only have access to your portal. All right. Great. So that is software as a service. Go ahead.
Mr. We would be
Okay,
going
so
on.
we'll take the break now. Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
so we'll be back by 12:35. By 12:35, we'll be back. Thank you.
Okay, so welcome back to the afternoon session. And I hope we are well refreshed. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so unfortunately, I've been trying to verify I haven't received SMS on 2 different lines that I've used so far. So maybe it's from the AWS platform, right? And unfortunately, that's not good because we're at the final stage. And after the verification code, that should take us to the portal, right? Okay, so let's look at the slide a little bit and then we go back and do something else. Okay, so those are the what? These are the cloud service models, right? Yeah, of course there are other ones, but these are the three popular ones, all right? Or the most popular ones. Okay, next up is what the cloud deployment models. And there are 4 of them, all right? So we have the community cloud. The community cloud refers to a situation or a cloud model whereby multiple organizations, say 2, 3 organizations, they want to have, because they have common goals, common compliance needs, right? then they can have their own what shared cloud infrastructure just for themselves, right? No one else, no other organization, just for themselves. So they can set it up for that purpose. That is what a community cloud. We have a private cloud. The private cloud is for a single organization. All right. Say, okay, fine, we have the resources, but we want to have our own private cloud. We want to have our own cloud infrastructure, right? They can also deploy that, the private cloud deployment model. We have the public cloud. The public cloud is the most popular among all of them, right? So the public cloud um covers the big three that we've seen earlier. The public cloud, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, they are all what public cloud. The reason is because they allow access to the public. So anyone, just like myself, yourself, anyone can be able to sign up and use their cloud infrastructure. The last is hybrid cloud. Now, the hybrid cloud is a combination of what the public and the private cloud, right? Great. So another way you can look at the hybrid cloud is an organization having to keep what both the private cloud and the public cloud. So that means they have some of their assets in the private cloud and others in a public cloud, right? That is an example of a hybrid cloud, all right? Great. Any questions on this? Okay, we move on. Then virtualization technology, right? There are various virtualization technology we can use, right? And what are some of the benefits? The benefit is scalability. We can be able to scale up by adding more resources, or we can do what? Scale down, right? Using what? Minimal effort. We can achieve all of this with minimal effort, all right? It's flexible based on your business needs. You can do what you can change things as swiftly as possible, right? It's also cost effective. Okay, you can only pay for what you use. It's resource optimization. Yes, because you can't just host resources that you are not using. That's not wise. So you have to just make sure the resources you set up are used, and they are used what? They are used effectively. So we have some of them, the leading providers as VMware, Microsoft, and so on and so forth over there, right? So these are some of the virtualization technologies being used around the world today. The future is hybrid, of course, right? Yes, because then you're combining the advantages of both the on-prem and the cloud, right? Great. So the on-prem strengths are like what? Complete control. Just like the private cloud, you have complete control over your infrastructure, everything, how the running of the data center, everything, you have complete control over the setup, the security, the customization, how it is being run, maintenance, management, everything. You have absolute control. Then for the cloud advantage, just like the public cloud, yes, you are going to be limited in some areas, but then you look at the advantages like the scalability of it, accessibility, right, and the cost effectiveness as well. So that's in that regard, you can enjoy the advantages of both environment, right? And then optimal solution, right? So once again, combining both of them, you can be able to optimize and use your assets or those resources effectively. Okay, so in about a couple of minutes, I'm going to try again to see if I can get OTP. And if I try this, I hope I get OTP this one time. All right. Okay, so infrastructure as a service, this is a more detailed slide for infrastructure as a service. You have the core component of the virtual servers and hardware, the operating systems, the networking connectivity, you have control over it. Storage solutions, you have control over it, right? Yeah. Why for platform as a service, you have file services, you have database services, you have backup systems, and these are examples of what platform as a service. Okay, this is software as a service. All right. Then we have other service models, but they are not as popular as the other three. Database as a service. This can also be software as a service, right? Database as a service can be software as a service because then you have access to the database only. Then you have communication as a service, right? Where every communication tools, right, are offered up, right? And you can just subscribe to that or spin it up and use them. Testing as a service in terms of security testing and all of that, maybe functionality testing as well can also be given, right? So it's very important because an agreement, just like every other time, an agreement has to be reached between the what? Between the cloud service provider and the cloud consumer, all right? Every time. The reason being that without an agreement, there will be no order, right? Yes, there will be no order. So an agreement, a service level agreement is always that document that abides or that binds the service, the cloud service provider and the cloud consumer, right? So it has the contract requirements, right? What are the delivery models, and every other outlined service levels or service agreements in there. Would there be monitoring tools that would also be determined? And when there are defaults in terms of services, then what are the penalties and what are the compliance um implications, right? Yeah, so all of these are included in the SLA that is signed or that is proposed between the CSP and the CS. All right. Okay, so let's go back. Let me quickly try this once again. I hope it works. If it doesn't work this time, and then probably won't get in. Okay, I can just try it. Let me try it again. Okay. BSRTYD. Okay. Okay. Confirm your, please. Sorry, there was an error processing your request. Please try again, and if error persists. You said RP SFM. Okay. All right. So this is an issue. I don't think we'll be able to complete the steps because I haven't been getting OTP from AWS. But you can try it on your own. Sorry, we cannot get past this at this point. We cannot get past this, but try it on your own. Yeah. Okay, so up next is Azure. It's same setup that we did for AWS, same way. You get to enter your details and all of that. So let me just get it. Let's see. Okay, so try Azure for free, or you can do pay as you go, whichever one. You can just click on that. So for free, these are the features for a free account. But trust me, there is no free account. I don't think it works. So at the end, you're gonna be a pay as you go user, right? But as a pay as you go user, it is only what you use that you're charged. You're not charged anything outside what you use, all right? Okay, so that would also be the case for what for Google Cloud, all right? Yeah, you can start for free here, start for free. Okay, so I think this one should be easier to work with. So just enter your email. Should be easier to work with. Okay, before you proceed, let me just check if I have activated this before. Okay, so I haven't, right? Just go ahead. Yeah. Sign into an existing Google account. You may already have this. Is cancelled to create any using an email address. You may already have a Google account. Cancel to create a new account using an email address. Okay. Let's try to see which one might work. Mm, mm. Excuse me. Okay, so let me just try to sign up. Yeah. So let me use something. Mm, let me see. Password, keep it simple. Okay. Great. Okay. Google needs to verify some info about your device or phone number before you can continue to keep renting abuse. Scan with your phone. All right. Let me see. Scan with your phone. Okay, so I'm trying to scan it and see. Scanned it, but it's not, doesn't open it. Let me try another. Mm, Okay. Is any new? Okay. It's a problem. Just keep referring to try again, try again, try again. Why? What's going on? Try again, try again, try again. Why? Ah, none of these things are working. I don't know. Something went wrong. Why verifying your phone number? Try again in order to continue. And I keep trying. Hmm. Maybe it's because it's the weekend, you know. I've tried my two phones and same thing. Try again, try again, try again. All right, so I can get past this for now because I'm getting a try again and an error message on one phone. Error message on one phone. Try again on another phone. That's I can't be able to verify. So maybe you can try it from your own side and see what we get. I think this is much more straightforward, but I don't know why it's just no. There's no other option. It's just to scan. Ah, it's crazy. All right. Are we together? Hello?
Yes, we
Hello?
are together.
Okay, so unfortunately we can't get past this. For AWS, this is the problem here. Code verification. I've tried several numbers and I keep getting the same issue. Let me try this once again and see. S3H, this H, B, F, R. Okay. Sir, sorry, there was an error processing your request. So that's it. I don't think we can get past either of this today. Azure is a more it's a more difficult one. I don't want to say it's not that difficult, but it's a more difficult one to sign up compared to AWS and GCP, right? Google Cloud, right? Yeah. So you can try it on your own. It's pretty straightforward. Sorry, we can't be able to complete the sign up at this point. Uh, Getting to maybe do one or two things, just see the interface and all that. Right. Okay, so yeah, we talked about this. Yeah, so we need to understand that the future uh is of course cloud computing, all right? Yeah, because you can use as many services as possible. Okay, so talking about cloud computing, it's available to as many customers as possible, as many services as possible, right? And it's also offering what new technological advancements, right, that you can think of. Okay, so the cloud is the future, right? Great. Okay, so what are some of the security challenges, right? Excuse me. So I think there's another one. Let me just confirm that the same thing. No, I saw something. Okay. Okay, so they are not the same. All right. Okay. Okay, so what are some of the security challenges, right? When it comes to what? When it comes to um cloud, right? Can someone mention maybe a challenge? What you think might be a security challenge when it comes to cloud? Yes, please. Yes, please. Anything you say is fine. There are no wrong answers here. Yes, anyone? Yes, I want you to say something, please. Anything you say is fine. Just try and say something.
Yes, I think many people are using the chatbot, sir.
Oh, okay. Let me check. All right. Mm, okay. Okay, okay. Oh, great, 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 great. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so someone said misconfiguration. Great. Yes, misconfiguration is a challenge, right? It's a security challenge, right? Increase in throughput demands. Great. That as well is a challenge. Now, do we know that there is what we call the OWASP top 10 for cloud? Let's quickly look at the OWASP top 10 for cloud. Hmm. OWASP top 10 for cloud. Let me bring the browser up. Yes, so that will give us even a better insight as to the security challenges around cloud, right? Yes. So OWASP top 10 for cloud, OWASP top 10 for cloud. Excuse me. Great. So this is the OWASP top 10 for cloud, right? Yeah, the top 10 was cloud native application security risk, right? So these are the challenges that are faced once you are a cloud consumer or a cloud service provider. These are the challenges you are likely to face. The top 10 issues, security risk around what? Cloud native applications, all right? There's also the OWASP top 10 for what? For APIs, right? They are similar, but this is strictly for cloud native applications, right? So these are the issues you're likely to face. You can always check it up, look it up. And in here, you're going to find misconfiguration somewhere. That should be number, okay, look at this. Look at number 5, insecure cloud native storage, right? We have misconfigured S3 buckets, databases, or what? Object storage. You see? And most of what we have here is insecure, insecure, insecure. This is insecure observability and logging, right? That means you don't have the proper monitoring in place, monitoring system in place, right? Um, Exposure of what sensitive logs of your applications, all right? Another one is what insecure network configuration, all right? So you have flat network structures, open ports, or weak network policies, right? And I mentioned, okay, take a look at number 9, insecure secret management, all right? So hard-coded passwords, keys, or certificates that are not meant to be publicly exposed, right? And they are exposed. So these are what issues that you're likely to face when you want to do what you want to migrate to the cloud, all right? Just have this at the back of your mind, how you're going to address them and mitigate them, or address them, prevent them, or mitigate them when the issues arise. All right. I just wanted to bring your attention to this. Great. So these are some of the issues once again. Okay, moving forward, we have cloud strategy framework. So this is just a framework that can guide you on how you can migrate to the cloud, right? You can't just wake up and say, I want to migrate to the cloud. It requires some sort of what planning, okay? Some certain what decisions to be made. So we're talking about what identifying what goals. You have to identify what, understand the organizational needs. Very key, right? If your problem is um if you have issues around security, are you going to subscribe to a cloud service provider that also have issues with security? No. You have to look for a cloud service provider that has a what, that has record for what, strong security. All right. So you have to understand your organizational needs and your cloud advantage. Okay. Then you evaluate based on your needs. You evaluate the providers. You make comparison. You look at the advantages and disadvantages of the cloud service providers. Do I go with GCP? Do I go with AWS? Do I also go with what? With Azure, right? And while you're doing that, you're also looking at the cost implications, all right, of running those what applications or servers on that particular service, uh, cloud service provider, right? Designing mitigation migration plan. Sometimes most of those systems can be legacy systems, right? They might not be compatible with with the cloud you're migrating to. So you need to sort those issues out, right? Do we upgrade to a more recent server, or maybe a supporting feature and all of that? That discussion and decision has to be made, right? Is there a type of compliance, right, that we're trying to meet? Or so that also has to be determined. And then you establish communication, all right? Yeah, so these are like the very, very simplified strategy framework you can use to do it for your cloud migration, all right? Okay, so uh we just run through this quickly. Then there are security standards and compliance, right? So for everything we do around cloud security, cyber security, there are very key components that we all always observe, right? And we call them the what? The CIA, the confidentiality, the integrity, and the what? The availability. These are very core principles of security. If any of these are breached, then security is breached, right? And so you should be considering, and most times, security standards, global security standards like the privacy policy, the privacy standard, the PCI DSS, they all have all of these um, um, in place, right? So on point, you have to make sure that your network security is top notch, right? You need to have comprehensive protection of your data, right? The way it is going to be transmitted, your whole network infrastructure, who should have access and who shouldn't have access, all right? Another one is data encryption is very important. Data needs to be encrypted where necessary. The last there is identity management. Hmm. Identity management is key. The reason is without identity management, anyone can have access to your cloud environment, and that is not good. So you need to provision users the way they are supposed to be, restrict where necessary, and allow where necessary. Okay, so there are some industry standards and frameworks, right? That are referenced in terms of what cloud computing. We have the NIST standard, right? Very key, okay? Because um, cloud security covers what cybersecurity, and cybersecurity covers what cloud security. So in the NIST cybersecurity framework, we have three categories. We have five categories rather, my bad. Five categories. We have the protect. First of all, we have the identify categories, where you do what? You understand your organization. You understand your what? Your organization. You understand your organizational assets. You understand your what? Your organizational needs, right? Great. So after having identified, the identify the people, the tools, the policies, the procedures, the methodology. You understand all of these things. Now, the next step is to do what? To ask yourself, how do we protect all of these? And that takes you to the next category. The next category is to protect. So this is the aspects or the category where you implement the necessary what? The necessary protection for what? Your tools, your people, staff, employees, top management, the tools, the assets, all of these protection that are needed to keep to keep your business running, right? Now, after that has been established, what is the next thing? Do we go to bed? So once you've implemented your protection, do you go to bed, right? You've implemented network protection, you've implemented physical protection, you've implemented all other form of user protection, internet protection, malware protection. So what? Do you go to bed? No, you don't go to bed. You continue to do what? You monitor. You look at the outcome of the protection that you put in place, right? And that takes us to what? Detects. You do what? You deploy tools to identify what? The threats, right? You measure up, you evaluate, are the protection in place? Are they adequate for the threats that we are experiencing currently, right? And if your answer is yes or no, you have to continuously monitor the systems, monitor the situation, right? Sometimes you have to go threat hunting, right? Yeah, so you put all of these things in place, your detection, you have various tools like the IDS. IDS is the intrusion detection, intrusion detection, and we have the IPS, intrusion prevention system, right? All of these things, you have your SIM, right? Your SIM for security, event monitoring, and all of these things, right, in place. Now, even while you are doing these things to prevent incidents, let's say they happen to be an incident, right? Great. So in all of these things, there was an insider threat. Um, something led to something, and there was a data breach, right? Great. How do you respond to that? Do you cry? Like, do you give up? How do you even respond to that? Would there be more chaos? Will people not know what to do when there is an incident? So that takes us to step number 4. Respond. how do you respond to incidents, right? What are your containment strategies for incidents, right? Yeah. So if there is fire, how do you respond to that? Are there people? Do you have your incident response on point? Do you have, what are the actions that are to be taken, right? Yeah, so how do you address people, communication, right? To ensure that people don't uh people don't panic, right? And they know what to do. So that is response, right? That's response, right? Incident response, right? And the last there is recover. Okay, now all along we've been talking about backup, 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 right? Now this is where backup come to, you know, to play, right? Now, backup, you have been doing backup. Now you needed to do what? To recover, to restore your systems, right? Just as if nothing happened. Okay. So that is the last part, restore systems to operational status. So these are the 5 categories when it comes to NIST cybersecurity framework. You can take a look at it online. Just type NIST cybersecurity framework and it will bring it up, right? Great, and you get more insight about it. Okay, just want to complete this before any other interesting thing to talk about. Okay, so cloud migration challenge. Yeah, so there are also issues around cloud migration challenge. Now, before you migrate to the cloud, once again, it's not something that you just wake up and you just think, oh, well, let's do it. No. One key challenge that people face in migrating to the cloud. Oh, sorry, excuse me. What? Okay, yeah. So sorry about that. Yeah. So let's quickly talk about some major challenges and issues that people face during cloud migration. All right. Yeah. Once again, I mentioned that you need to do what? Proper planning. All right. Yeah. So let's look at security and compliance, right? Yeah. So you will not, because you're trying to migrate to the cloud, and then during that period, a lot of things might happen, right? So you have to do what? Look out for what? Breaches and data exposure. It's very important that you look out for what? Breaches and data exposure. Okay. Yeah. So everything has to be done properly. All right. Great. So to do that, you need to ensure that your migration entails what? End-to-end encryption. All right. End-to-end encryption. You know, when we use WhatsApp and they tell us what? That our chats are what? End-to-end encrypted. So that means that from this end, from your end to the messages you send from your WhatsApp to another person's WhatsApp cannot be read by anyone, that it cannot be exposed to what man in the middle attack because it has been encrypted. All right. You can also consider multi-factor authentication where necessary, um, and so on, right? Optional, you can use something like a zero trust, right? That can also make sense. A zero trust, um, for when considering security and compliance. Another issue you might face during cloud migration challenge is downtime and what business disruption. Yeah, it can be a challenge because say you cannot try to do your migration at peak hours. I mean, it's not wise. When let me take for instance, give you an example. Some of us that knows item 7, right? Item 7 cannot say we want to migrate our web application, right, to the cloud when in the daytime when people are ordering food. No, because there will be downtime. They're going to lose a lot of orders. They will lose a lot of customers too, who will lose trust in their business, right? And all of that issues. So you can't do it at that time. You have to do it at a time that is off peak hours, right? Yeah, so it covers what proper scheduling. Another one is you look at the high costs and rising costs, budgeting, and all of that, right? Yes. So it's also key that you look at the cost of migrating to the cloud, right? Another one is let's take one more. Um, so data loss, right? And corruption. Okay, so that's likely to the um yeah. So all of these things are cloud migration challenges that can be faced. But I tell you that with proper planning, all of these challenges can be addressed, and the cloud migration will be implemented as smoothly as possible, right? Great. Okay, so I'm looking uh so we can close this. I think we've gotten to the end of the slide. There is nothing else here. Okay. All right. So any questions so far, please? I'm open to take questions. Yes, please. Any questions so far? Yes, please. Any questions? Please ask me questions. Anything. Anything around cloud security. Ask me. Maybe something you've tried to do in the past, it didn't work, or any idea or something on your mind. Okay, I'm looking at the chart to see if there's anything. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Please
Thank
go
you
ahead,
for
sir.
the
Coyote.
thank you for the wonderful presentation. It's so much insightful. And I just want to get clarity regarding the infrastructure as a service and the platform as a service. Because from my own little experience, I think the infrastructure as a service is provisioning of IT infrastructure in the cloud, such as the what's it called the the provision of an IT infrastructure in the cloud, sha, like the computing power and all those things. While the what I understand earlier was that the platform as a service, it's like it's mainly for what's it called, majorly for the developers, where they have a platform that allows them to come on board, run their code, like deploy their solution almost immediately. So, and the explanation you gave to us is that it's just like an example of having a desktop, which I think that is the explanation for my own understanding. I think that's the explanation for the infrastructure as a service. Because take for example, I'm in my environment currently. I run Microsoft 365, so which I believe Microsoft 365 itself is a software as a service. And I have also, I also have a website whereby I provisioned a what's it called, a cloud server. That's the hosting for me to host it, which serve as the infrastructure as a service. Whereby, and I also have, in Microsoft 365, there is Power Platform, where it allows you to come develop your application and deploy it for your user and also automate your process. So I think that platform as a service relates directly to that example of Power Platform. I know we also have Azure App Engine, and I just want to get clarity regarding that, sir.
Okay, right. Thank you very much, Coyote. Yes, what you said, you are correct, right? Yeah. However, the reason why I didn't want to use all of that examples, right, is because we have people of varied knowledge levels here, right? Great. So you know Azure, right? You know all of these resources in Azure, right? But some of them, other participants might not know it. Okay. And I don't want it to be uh maybe particular cloud service provider based and all that. That's why I have the three of them. Unfortunately, I'm sorry that we're not able to log in or maybe set up any of those environments so we can see, right? Yeah, so what you said is correct. Either of that can apply. However, why I used the example I used was so that you can easily understand it, right? That you don't have, for instance, you don't have access to the underlying infrastructure, right? You only have access to a certain portion of the system, okay, which is of course like it's more like view only. You have a view only access, and someone has a view and sorry, you have a read only, right? And then someone has a read and uh, um um hey, am I forgetting this? But I know you get what I mean though. You get, so that's why I use that example. Okay.
All right,
Hello,
sir.
Coyote.
Thank you, sir.
Great. Great, great. Thank you. Yes, any questions? Any other questions? Yes, please. Any other questions before I hand over, right? Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for having me. I appreciate your time and your efforts and your attendance to this session. Yes, so far, I hope this has been really insightful for you. And you can always expand on what we have covered today and leverage on this to, explore other knowledge base. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Once again, my name is Clifford Ezekiel, and I'm going to hand over to the host. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Clifford. Let's all appreciate Mr. Clifford in the chat box, please. Thank you for your time. The session was really, really insightful. So let's all appreciate Mr. Clifford in the chat box. Let's all appreciate Mr. Clifford. I'm not saying us Nothing. Okay, thank you for your time. Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Clifford. And while we do that, please endeavor to go to the chat box, fill in the attendance form, and we have a feedback form on the chat box. This is going to help us on how well you see the program and how we can actually make it better. So please fill in the feedback form and chat done in the chat box. The assignment for this class will be posted on the group. Please endeavor to submit and take the assignment. The material was sent and the recording also will be sent subsequently. So please ensure to take all of this really seriously. We hope to see you again next week, same time. I hope you all have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.